Hello, everyone, and welcome to this big group review podcast. I say big group, it's just me and two other people for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. We just saw it last night, and we all have opinions on it. So I'm obviously Calum, the guy that ranks all these videos, and we have Ben and Cameron here.
Hey,
Yep,
I make shitty Sonic renders.
yep, that's them. So I thought maybe, obviously, we want to start just kind of. We're not going to spoil anything to start with, and then we'll go into more specific plot points. But I figured maybe, you guys should explain, I guess, maybe where you were coming from before you saw this movie, and like what your history is with I guess, the franchise. So Ben, if you wanted to say what your mindset was before we saw this.
pretty much. I like films. I like good films. So obviously, I like the first Jurassic Park movie. I think the Lost World is a well-made movie, but a lot of the symbolism and subtext of the movie I find to be quite preachy and annoying. But it is a solid movie. It's just a personal thing. Three is garbage, and World was okay. I came to this movie pretty much thinking it was going to be a big meme. Like everything I saw before just told me there was going to be a cookie cutter blockbuster just with really autistic scenes in it, which I believe I was correct.
Yeah, Cameron.
Got him. Well, I've always liked Jurassic Park to an extent. There was a big part of my life where I didn't watch it. I watched it when I was young, completely forgot about it. Then Caleb attacked me until I watched it again. I enjoyed it a lot. I like Jurassic World, the first one, to an extent. I think it's fun, but overall it's pretty garbage. I had like decent expectations for this movie just because of what other people said about the film. They were like, "Oh my god, so great! It's like the first movie," and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." But no, they're all wrong.
You haven't seen The Lost World or JP3, have you?
No, I do plan to watch the Lost World at some point, but yeah, I'm literally not going to watch the third one.
Yeah, okay, and then for anyone who's not familiar with me, I mean, I just made a video last week about Jurassic Park for the anniversary, but, Jurassic Park's my favorite movie of all time. I think it's a masterpiece. I think The Lost World is really good. It's not perfect, but I still consider it a great movie overall. I have problems with it, but to me, the only true Jurassic Park movies are the first two by Spielberg. I think three is garbage. I think World was all right, but still really dumb and really pushing the envelope in terms of absurdity and turning it into like a dumb Marvel movie. And then I went into Fallen Kingdom not expecting much. I went over this in my video last week as well. I wasn't expecting anything great because fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So I wasn't going to let them trick me this time. I went in very skeptical. And I guess we can just say now, yeah, I went into this movie with no expectations. I kept joking I thought it was going to be garbage, hoping maybe I would like it because I'd be surprised. But I had no expectations for this movie, and I was still disappointed. I think this is now the second worst movie in the franchise, for sure.
That's honestly the really sad thing because that's what I was talking about with my family. Just been like, Caleb's favorite movie is Jurassic Park. He likes the second one, doesn't like the third one, doesn't like World very much. He has low expectations for this movie. I was thinking, like, he's still going to be disappointed if it's bad. Because that's just, like, that's your nature. Well, even if you have low expectations, it's still Jurassic Park. You expect something decent from it.
Yeah, like, I guess just my overall things, I think what we all kind of agreed on was that I have like a big list of notes. We'll kind of go through the film chronologically once we get more into the spoiler stuff. Still not going to reveal anything specific just yet. We'll have a warning when we go into that. But I feel for me, my problem with, well, even starting from Jurassic Park 3, I felt Jurassic Park 3 felt like a B movie. It felt like a B grade Sci-Fi Channel TV movie. Jurassic World at least felt like a movie. It just felt like a really dumb action movie, which Jurassic Park shouldn't be, in my opinion. And then this felt like an even dumber action, quote unquote, horror movie, but it's not scary. It's just using all the cliches and tropes of horror while also constantly referencing the first movie really obnoxiously, which we'll get into the specifics of that later because a lot of it's spoilers. But it just felt so goofy. There were points it felt like a cartoon. Our whole cinema was laughing at points that should have been scary.
No,
but they
no,
weren't.
I think that no, I don't think that happened. They were laughing at stupid comedy scenes in it that were not funny.
No, but there were parts that were clearly parts towards the second half of the film that should have been scary, but they weren't, and
See, I
people
don't
were
remember
laughing.
that part. I don't remember that.
Well,
I
I'll
was
get in-
laughing, but I don't remember everyone else
I
laughing.
know there was a point. There was a point when you and I just like
Yeah,
lost
but that
it.
was me and you, not the general audience. I think the general
I know,
audience ate that
but
shit
I'm not
up.
talking. I'm talking about. There's a specific thing I'm thinking of mainly at the moment. Two specific things in particular. But those are spoilers, so we'll get into them later. Yeah, but I just felt this movie opened brilliantly. It had like almost everything I wanted at a Jurassic Park opening. It was really atmospheric and tense and a little bit scary and just kind of felt right, set the scene. It was in the rain, and which Jurassic World didn't have any rain, so I was like, nice, we got the rain back. But then it just started to drop. The moment for me, was when they were heading to the island. That was when it was that little dialogue between Chris Pratt and he's Owen, but no one calls him Owen because he doesn't have a character. Chris Pratt and Franklin, the nerd guy, that little dialogue exchange on the plane was where I was like, well, I was liking this movie, and now it's starting to go downhill.
How did you even remember his name?
Yeah, exactly. I literally just
it's
understood him as a
Franklin,
guy that screams.
Zia, Benjamin Lockwood. Yeah, I knew some of their names before the movie was out. already.
Exactly.
Like,
That's the only reason why you'll know them, because you read pre-material. Literally, I do not remember a single character from this movie. I like understand them as their fucking archetypes. Like that dude, I remember
Macy
screamy
and-
guy. Screams.
But yeah. I don't know how much more we can really say without going into detail. Is there anything else you guys want to say before we go into spoilers? Because
Film shot well. Script is garbage. But
Yeah,
that's why
that's my
I
overall.
sort of came out with the movie more like if the script was average, I wouldn't like this movie. If this was like a Rogue One script, I would have not liked this movie.
Yeah, like just boring.
If the script as it is, I watched this movie over Lost World, to be honest, because I found it way more entertaining. Because it's stupid as fuck.
Overall, as Ben said, the film was shot really well. The directing was like great. I don't know who directed the film, but he
J.A.
obviously
Barrow.
did a good job. Well, like in terms of the opening scene, after like watching it, then watching the whole movie, I feel like it was put in the film later.
Yeah, you know
'Cause
what?
it's-
Yeah,
Because
probably.
it's so nothing like the actual movie itself. It starts off like a Jurassic Park movie, and then it's like, I say like a lot, but it changes so drastically.
dramatically nice.
Drastically, I'm retarded. Changes so drastically, you just kind of have to think, who wrote this? It obviously wasn't the people who wrote this garbage movie.
Well, it was Colin Trevorrow, wasn't it?
It's Colin Trevorrow and I think Derek Connolly who wrote Jurassic World. I love Colin Trevorrow. I think he's a really cool guy. He's a really big fan of the franchise and everything, and he's really nice to fans. He's always like interacting on Twitter and like through the Jurassic Outpost like website and forums and stuff. But he's apparently coming back for directing the next one, and yeah, the way this movie ends had me in like bad enough, like, oh my god, this next one's gonna be garbage. And if he's directing it as well, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, in general, before we head into spoilers, I gotta say my only positives of Fallen Kingdom are the directing. This is the best directed the franchise has been since The Lost World, for sure. Way better than Joe Johnston's garbage in JP3, and way better than Colin Trevorrow's, like, kind of uninspired directing for World. It wasn't really anything that interesting or dynamic in that movie. This is easily the best directed the franchise has been since Lost World. Visuals were fantastic. All the animatronics looked pretty good. The music was great because it's Michael Giacchino, of course it's great. Some of the performances were pretty good. There were a few moments where I actually kind of liked Owen and Claire a bit more than I did in World. Like, I sort of cared about them, but I only really cared about them because of the way they interacted with other characters, namely Macy, the little girl. but even then, I'm still don't really care about them that much. This is still just like a really dumb, cliched movie that is constantly stuck in the shadow of what it wants to be, but at the same time I feel it doesn't know what it wants to be because it's all over the place. And the direction this movie goes in at the end has me extremely worried.
Has me in stitches. Can't wait.
It has me like at this point I've kind of said on Twitter like I think I'm done. Like I'm still going to have to see the third one, and I'm still gonna like keep up to date with news on it and stuff. But I'm not like I didn't even get my hopes up with this one, but I'm not letting them do anything to convince me for this third one. I think because for Fallen Kingdom, they had me really worried, and then they gave me some good news of animatronics and the director and the fact they wanted to make it scary again. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds good. I'm still skeptical. I'm still not getting my hopes up, but that sounds good. And then I saw the movie, and yeah, the directing was good, but like the script was complete garbage, and it wasn't scary. Like outside of maybe two scenes, two isolated scenes that don't really affect the movie as a whole. So yeah, I guess we're good to start getting.
Just want to
into
ask a
spoilers.
question before, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, if like you saying about Colin Trevorrow being a fan, do you think the fact he's so much of a fan of the series that's the reason why his script is so garbage, with like a bunch
Maybe.
of callbacks and that?
I don't see. I don't know how much of that's him. I think a lot of it is it's the product of its time. At least Jurassic World was like self-aware in that. Jurassic World was like aware that it was a big blockbuster and it was a commentary on that. I don't think that means the movie's good, but at least it was trying to say something. I don't think this movie has anything to say, especially with some of the spoiler points we'll get into. I don't think anything about Fallen Kingdom means anything. It's not trying to say anything other than like don't be bad to animals.
Don't be greedy. Yeah, don't be. Well,
Yeah,
the big one's
which is-
greed, and it's like done in the most
cartoony,
funny way.
ridiculous.
It's so dumb.
Yeah. I watched a video again earlier. Someone who reviewed the movie, and he was saying like, oh yeah, the villains in this they're not as cartoony as Dennis Nedry. Like Nedry
What?
had like no development. These guys had way more development than Nedry. I'm like, whoa.
These guys are like Saturday morning cartoon, like Captain
Yeah.
Planet villains. Like I could hear the theme song.
And they play out like that too. But yeah, we'll get to that in spoilers. But yeah, this movie doesn't mean anything. It's not trying to say anything. It's just dumb, predictable garbage.
Oh, the big truck going by.
Yeah, I've got crows going on, but that happens literally every time I record. There's crows in the background, but whatever. Hopefully I can silence them out a bit. But yeah, the weird thing is that apparently a lot of the bad ideas with this franchise are actually from Spielberg, which I'm like, man, you directed like the first two and they
He's
were great.
become
and then-
senile.
Yeah, like for Jurassic World, his idea was functioning park, which I was like, okay, like all right, that was probably one of the better parts of that movie was seeing the park working, except we never got to see it. Trained raptors, which okay, not a good one there, Spielberg. And then big new scary dinosaur that's bigger than the T-Rex or whatever was also his idea for World. And then they went, all right, let's make it a hybrid. And then apparently for Fallen Kingdom, the island blowing up and like the Indoraptor and stuff, I think all of that was like his idea too, and some other things we'll get into in spoilers. I think all those were his idea as well, and I'm just like, Spielberg, man, what are you doing? You're killing your own franchise. Like, you are giving them awful ideas.
Well, his last two films have been like below par. Like I've heard Bridge of Spies was good. I put that in quotations, but like when I also hear stuff about it, it's like it's one of the most boring films I ever watched. I'm like, okay.
And Ready Player
And then
One.
Ready Player One's just garb.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even bother to see that one because I was like, yeah, no way. All right,
Just think
Cameron,
he's
do you
senile.
have anything else you want to say before we get into spoilers?
No.
All right. Well, basically, I've created like a full list of notes, kind of in chronological order of the movie, and then obviously some other general thoughts that I had, just kind of compiling everything I thought during the film. So again, sort of, starting from the start, again, we're in spoilers now, we can say whatever the fuck we want. The beginning, of course, was incredible. I thought it was great. The fact that it started underwater and that silhouette of the mosasaur above them and all that, I was like, oh, this is good. And that sound of the submarine, and I was already having problems with the dialogue at the start though, when they're going through and they're like, relax, nothing's
that was funny.
Nothing's still alive in here, and they find the Indominus Rex bones, like, there she is, the Indominus Rex. I was like, yep, I saw the last movie, I know what it is. You don't have to tell me. I remember hearing from the people that saw that opening in advance that there was like a Dilophosaur cameo, but I don't think I caught it unless their hoots were like really distant in the background. But I thought we were going to see them or something.
Yeah, no, you could hear them. It's when he's using his little tablet thing.
Yeah, I thought I might have
T-Rex
heard them a
arrives.
little bit, but I was like, I definitely didn't see them.
You don't see him.
Yeah, because I was thinking like, oh, I want to see Dilos again. Like, they're only in the first movie. Why have they not brought them back? But yeah, I would have liked to see that. But no, I thought the opening was great. Like, really, well, it was supposed to set the tone, but it didn't, because the tone completely changes. And then it has that weird 3D logo of the
That
movie.
was great.
Yeah, it was a really like B movie.
Yeah,
shit.
they've never
Komodo
done
versus
that.
Cobra.
They've never done that in any of the Jurassic Park. They've never had the logo on the screen before. The closest was like JP3 when they have the Jurassic Park logo come up and then 3 claws like strike through the through the logo to make the 3. Like, I thought that was bad, but this was like, I mean, this wasn't as bad as that, but this was still like, whereas, yeah, like JP and the Lost World open with like dark, creepy music, and then just the logo just boom, like popping up on this. Even Jurassic World did that pretty well too, I think. But this was like, and then we get Ian Malcolm in the court thing. I was worried he was going to come off as kind of just Jeff Goldblum playing himself, because from the game Jurassic World Evolution recently, which I've really enjoyed, by the way, I could do a video on that later at some point. He kind of sounds like he's reading a script, and he doesn't really feel like Ian Malcolm.
He's just doing his
He feels like an
eccentric stuff.
imitation of Ian Malcolm from the first movie instead of Ian Malcolm 25 years later and after the events of The Lost World. Whereas this, I felt he seemed pretty good. I felt he's very briefly in the movie, but I felt that his performance and his dialogue, brief as they were, fit.
Is it bad that I think he's probably one of the most well-realized characters in this movie? Like, in terms of what he
He's barely in
says?
it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd agree, actually.
Like, his motivations are clear. His attitudes towards the park is pretty clear. He's trying to take action, and it's like everyone else is just like.
I was a little worried he was going to be straight up like kill the dinosaurs, but he was like, no, he's like, look, I get it, like, it's sad. We don't want to let these animals die, but I think in this case that is the right thing to do to be safe. And even me love dinosaurs and everything. I was kind of like, yeah, you know what, like, I think I kind of agree. Like, this is a natural thing that's going down. They abandoned that park. These creatures shouldn't have been brought back to begin with. Maybe we should just let them die. But obviously that doesn't happen.
Do they forget sauna exists?
No, they name drop it.
But why don't here's the thing. Why don't they take the dinosaurs to sauna instead of the house?
Well, see, that's even before the movie came out. That's what Steve and I have been discussing. Maybe the third movie will be them taking them to sauna. In which case, for me, I'm like, at that point,
that's not exciting. That's not what I want.
At that point, only the first 2 movies need to happen anyway, because you're going to end the same way The Lost World ended, with take all the dinosaurs living happily ever after on sauna. The Lost World already ended like that. You're just doing the same thing again. But I think that might be what happens. Or, now, again, we're in spoiler talk now and stuff. They make it clear at the start that Lockwood wants to take the dinosaurs to a sanctuary, an isolated sanctuary with no fences where the dinosaurs can all live together freely and peacefully. That doesn't happen in the movie. So I'm thinking the next one, maybe they're going to be like, all right, let's actually take them to the sanctuary this time.
Suburban Sasquatch with dinosaurs, please. That would be exciting.
And we're told early on, Hammond and Lockwood, started making dinosaurs in, underneath the ground of this mansion like many years ago. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like, that doesn't change anything about the lore too bad. But then they're like, oh, but something, something split them off from each other, I started being like, oh, is this the thing I predicted before we went into the movie?
So was it the fact that they would experiment on humans, or just like the fact he didn't have a granddaughter? Like, it was really not clear.
I guess we're going into that big fucking shit plot twist now. Well, yeah, the big plot twist is that Macy, the little girl, is a clone. She's not a real human. She is a cloned little girl, which I called before we went into the movie because unfortunately I saw a kind of vague comment from the people that saw it early in the UK. I saw a vague comment that kind of gave that away, and then I went, "Oh my god, you know what? They're probably going to do it," and I was right, and it was so dumb. I think what split them apart was the fact that they said his daughter died.
In a car crash.
Yeah, and he somehow had her DNA in her blood or something.
Went to the crash site and extracted her
Went to
blood.
a grave, dug it up, had sex with a corpse.
Cloned. See, what I want to know, how old is Macy? She can't be any older than like 8
I don't know.
or something.
Like, that whole thing didn't
Hammond,
make any
maybe
sense.
I'd say-
Hammond died like a decade ago in the lore.
Yeah.
So when did they? I assume they split apart before he went to make Jurassic Park.
Definitely.
So how fucking long was he working on?
She looks like she could have been like maybe 12.
Yeah, I reckon 10 or 12.
Maybe, I don't know.
Like I wouldn't go any higher than 12.
It's still like I still don't understand like what is if Hammond is like angry at him, you would think it would be the fact that he's experimenting on creating humans. That's the reason why, not just the granddaughter thing. I don't understand why that's a plot point that needs to be said. It's like, ooh, they had a feud. It's like, so?
Yeah, my whole problem with that twist, we might go into it more later when we get to it kind of in the story, but my whole problem with that twist is it doesn't add anything. It doesn't mean anything. Like the movie doesn't say anything about it. Like, it doesn't go, oh, she's a clone, now let's have something interesting happen.
Well, it has no impact on the plot at all.
Yeah, they just go, oh, she's a clone. And
it's
like,
just set up for the next movie, right?
I'm guessing, yeah, like, what does that add, saying that she's a human clone? Which, for one thing, I think is the thing you can get away with in Jurassic Park with the clone dinosaurs is always that, for me, it was always that was the only thing you had to suspend your disbelief on, is that they brought the dinosaurs back to life. That's a big deal, but they kind of explain it in a way you can kind of believe it, and because we've never seen a real dinosaur before, there's no worry of like, do they look right, because we don't know. You can't do that with that science established in these movies, that there's gaps in the DNA and we don't know what they really ever looked like to begin with. You can't do that same science with a human and get away with it, because we know what a human looks like. So you can't use that established canon and say, oh yeah, we cloned a human and she looks just fine, because then it's like, you clearly did it fucking perfectly. But with dinosaurs,
First she had Down syndrome or something. Jesus Christ, what?
No, but I'm just saying, like, that's the point. I can't suspend my disbelief for that in this universe, because dinosaurs you can get away with because we don't know what they even look like. So there's always that kind of vagueness of like, well, they're cloned from DNA that's incomplete. We don't like even know. But to say that then they're cloning humans, it's like, oh my god.
Well, wasn't the issue with the DNA the fact that it was coming from mosquitoes, and so it was complete? Like, if you're taking a blood sample, it would be more complete, wouldn't it?
I agree with that. I'm just saying that the idea of cloning in general is easier to
Sci-fi
suspend.
movie.
Yeah, but Jurassic Park is always what's always supposed to be like light sci-fi. Like, they have dinosaurs, that's it. That's the only thing. Everything else is real. And this, to me, is just further like pushing the boundaries. I'm like, you gotta stop.
I wouldn't say so. Like, they've been cloning sheep recently and raising them in artificial wombs and shit. So, like, I wouldn't say it's too far-fetched.
If they went more into it, if they actually went more in depth with the twist and not so much explained it, but at least gave it purpose. The only purpose it serves is that at the end, she can be the one that lets the dinosaurs out, because she's like, oh, they're clones like me, so I can't let them die.
So tough.
Yeah, like, that's the only reason That's the only reason that's the only purpose that twist
Well,
serves.
she's a plot device. Like, the whole
Yeah.
character's a plot device. She's
Exactly.
useless. She doesn't do anything. Oh, sorry, she discovers the Indoraptor, that's it. But
Which
even
came
then,
out of nowhere. The Indoraptor in this movie felt pointless. It's just there, and they just kill it, and then
no,
it's like,
it's
all
there
right.
for funny comedy with Tom and Jerry. Do you not see him smile? The dinosaur
Yeah,
smiled. How's that entertainment?
Did you like the dumb like fake out jump scare with Macy at the start as well?
Yeah, that was
When
real
the woman's
necessary.
like looking through the mansion and she just goes like, "Meh."
I thought that meant like there was dinosaur DNA and I was something I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
I would
that's what
actually
I would-
laugh if that happened.
I was thinking like she's either a clone or the Indoraptor's got like her DNA or she's got like dinosaur DNA or something dumb. Thankfully,
That's how they
didn't do
made
that.
up the DNA bits, Caleb. They
I
DNA
still
in
think
that.
I still think the clone idea is dumb, but I do like at least that from the start of the movie they kind of establish from the very beginning that the mansion there's something kind of like creepy about it a little bit. Like they make it clear that it's gonna come back later and be where the climax of the movie is, and it's gonna be kind of scary later. I like that from the start they establish that. It also made some parts really predictable, but I guess we can get to that later. Wheatley and like all the other guys were so obviously the villains, like immediately. It didn't help that the trailers kind of spoiled that. I only watched the first two trailers. I didn't watch the final one. And I could tell where the whole movie was going from the start. Like unfunny Chris Pratt avoid lava scene, where he's tranked and he can't move properly and there's lava right next to him and he's like,
I actually kind of like that scene. It made sense. Like, obviously, it was kind of like, obviously, I've gotta stop saying like, but it is sort of for comedic effect. But like, what else is he supposed to do when there's lava literally moving towards him and he can't move?
the
He has
heat
to-
of the lava, like
yeah, he should have been dead, but it was
Oh, come
obviously
on, like,
they
there's so
can't
many
just let
parts
him
in that whole,
die.
like, section where he should have died. That, like, he gets covered in volcanic ash. It's a bunch of carbon
what I'm
monoxide.
saying,
He should
like,
be
I-
dead. It's like, who cares?
I'm
an
I'm
action
so
movie.
sick of how much they push the like suspension of disbelief in these movies. Like I'm so sick to death of it. I like when they're grounded. The opening scene felt pretty grounded, and then it just like goes into nonsense. Then you have like the whole bit with the baryonyx, which was like all right, but then that
I
room
liked
is
it,
like
but the dude, like, the
Yeah,
annoying
and-
scientist dude.
and that room is like filled with lava, but then somehow the other team get the baryonyx in like 2 seconds after that scene. Same with Rexy, when Rexy comes in and the Carnotaur is hunting for no reason. They should be escaping the volcano, but the Carnotaur is hunting them even though there's volcanic shit everywhere. And then Rexy comes in to hunt the Carnotaur and then runs away. Somehow, like 2 seconds after that, they've captured Rexy and the Carnotaur and the baryonyx, which was in a room full of lava. But okay,
Was there only one baryonyx?
yeah, that's that one. That's the only one.
Is that the
that's-
only one they had on the island? Really?
as far as I know, the only one that's still. It's clearly like implied to be the same one. at least.
See, I thought it was just a different one.
I don't know.
That makes it even better. These guys are like the best hunters in the world, man. I love these guys.
I actually noticed a few things kind of early on. I liked that one of the things the trailers kind of ruined was that scene when they get out of the truck for the Brachiosaur, because it's clearly they hear the stomping of the feet and it's clearly meant to make you think it's the T-Rex. Then they get out and see the Brachiosaur, and it was like a nice little moment, but we already knew from like the first trailer there was the Brachiosaur, so I was like, oh, it's the Brachiosaur. I already know this. Like, you're not fooling me with anything, you know. But I noticed a few.
Me dinosaur movie.
I noticed a few little things during this part on the island, which overall I felt the island stuff was really rushed. Like it went past so quick.
Still
I
the best
noticed a
stuff in the movie,
few-
though.
I noticed a few little things that I they're like sort of really subtle callbacks that I thought was mostly okay. Like I thought the overturned Explorer that Blue's on, I'm like, yeah, that's a bit on the nose. That's the one that Timmy and Alan came out of in the first movie. But then I was like, that whatever. But like little things like when they're opening the door security systems, the sound effects, like the sounds of all that is from the first movie. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like I pick up all on that stuff. But then later on in the movie, all the callbacks, including sounds, get really obnoxious. We've already talked about it at the end when all the dinosaurs get out. They spoiled this in the trailers as well, with Rexy entering a zoo and roaring at a lion. The sound of her breaking the fence of that zoo is literally the exact same sound effects as when she breaks out of the electric fence in the first movie. And I was like, these sounds don't even match. This is like a chain link fence, but it's making these sounds of like these big wires like snapping, and I'm like, that's not even. Why would you do that? Why would you use those same sounds? Like, just for a cheap nostalgia grab or something? Like, oh, just.
And to be honest, which normal moviegoer is going to go, those were the sounds of the fence breaking into Jurassic Park 1. Oh, wow. That really gets me invested in this movie. Even though, like, I am 90% sure every single person that was a general movie-going audience in our theatre enjoyed that movie very, very much.
Probably. I think I heard a few people like, wow, that was really good. While I was like, wow, that was garbage.
You were fucking screaming.
I
Like,
really,
one of the dudes who was sitting in the thing looked at Jackson and said, wow, he likes Jurassic Park, lol.
I really liked one of the one scene that I thought was actually kind of tense that I really liked that felt like Jurassic Park was when the gyrosphere went off into the ocean, and it was a like 1 minute long one shot scene of the water breaking into the gyrosphere and them trying to cover it up, and then Owen like helping them escape and stuff. I thought that was great. I was like, oh, that was a really nice like tense little moment. And then they, get a truck and they jump on the boat, and somehow they're hiding on there and no one finds them. And the one scene in the movie that kind of got me was the Brachiosaur at the dock with all the volcanic ash coming in to, starting to kill it. I was thinking like, this is a bit on the nose and, manipulative, but it kind of got me a bit. I was like, yeah, that is sad. I don't know what you guys thought of that bit, but like I kind of like
thought it was
that in
manipulative and pretty much was everything that I didn't really like about the Lost World personified. So I'm like, all right, cool.
I don't
Next
know.
scene.
Like I did think it was a bit forced, but I was like, oh, that it made me feel something unlike a lot of the other scenes. So I don't know.
Because it's just like, it's like a... Oh, I can't stop saying that stupid word. It's because of... Fuck, I'm actually going to kill myself. But it is an animal that is in distress, stuck on an island that's about to explode. So obviously, you're going to feel emotion towards it as you feel bad that it's going to burn to death.
They also very obviously picked the Brachiosaur because it's the first one you see in Jurassic Park properly. And
also...
And
how's it going to even fit
stuff.
on the boat in general? So that was their
They
big
brought
thing.
Apatosaurs back somehow. Like
I
there's
don't know how they did.
Apatosaurs later. That's my whole thing with that whole roundup. I'm like, how did they capture all of them? Like
At the end, there's
did they-
compies, isn't there, as well?
Yeah, there's compies, and I'm like,
Why would you take the compies? Like,
Yeah,
like who? Which? That sounds like agricultural and like fucking
Military
military,
people and
right?
stuff, yeah.
So like, I get herbivores for like plowing fields and shit, even though that's kind of autistic. Why wouldn't you not just use a fucking?
The Ankylosaur is like a living tank.
But the thing is, like, right, you have mechanical technology. Why the fuck would you use animals? We haven't used animals like
Flintstones,
since
Ben.
the Green Revolution and shit.
Flintstones.
Like, why?
Jurassic World 3, the dinosaurs are going to take us back to the Stone Age. It's gonna
Yeah,
be
but that
Flintstones
doesn't
movie.
matter. Like, you're not in a world that's run by dinosaurs. You're in a world that's run by machines. You don't need dinosaurs. I get the military aspect, sort of. Like, I guess if you had a raptor and just released it on people, yeah, it may be effective. But why not just use bullets? Like,
Yeah.
but like, what agricultural dude or military dude's gonna be like, you know what I'm gonna buy? I'm gonna buy a compy. Little fucking little thing that literally does nothing.
Yeah, only if you had
What is
like
it?
20 of them.
billion compies, maybe
Yeah.
then it would be deadly. I don't know.
Like they killed Dita Stark in the Lost World, but see, I think that scene's cool, but I also think that scene's a bit unbelievable
Still-
because I'm like,
Okay,
why would they kill him? you
like
know?
30 compies, right? Just throw a grenade. They all blow up. Oh no, the compies.
You know what I'm actually worrying is at the end when they release them, they only release like maybe like 20 like animals total, maybe
Yeah.
you know, maybe 20. have a feeling in the third one there's gonna be fucking hundreds.
It's gonna be like a billion.
It's gonna be like the world overrun by dinosaurs, even though they only released a few, and they released them in California. There's gonna be fucking like dinosaurs in Africa now.
Oh, was it California? I thought that was London.
That's what I thought too. Before, because the whole movie was like shot. A lot of it was shot in London.
That's
and,
California?
and it was it's in California.
That's not California.
That's why the post-credit scene is the Pteranodons in Vegas.
Yeah. Well,
Which
I
was
was
a
about to say,
lame
how the
credit
fuck
scene.
they get from the English Channel to Vegas? But
Yeah,
apparently
and that's why
Fifth
Blue
Wham.
That's
Blue
not-
looks out over like that desert and stuff. It's California and like
That's right. They do.
Does
They
it?
have the stupid little text thing that's in every single action movie at the bottom that says California. I completely forgot that because it looks
Yeah.
nothing like California.
I know. They didn't say where that sanctuary was either. Like where it actually. I was thinking at the start, like, all right, where is this sanctuary? Like, is it on an island? Is it in where
The one that they
near
had on the
people?
diorama.
Yeah.
They said that was an island.
Did they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they said it was an
Yeah,
island.
clearly.
Okay, I couldn't remember if they said that or not. I just remember saying like, "Oh yeah, I have this sanctuary," and I'm like, "Where?" Because I was thinking, I was thinking like, just take him to sauna, like, go there.
Well,
you
yeah,
know?
that if they took him to sauna, there's no movie.
Yeah, basically. The only thing is, sauna does run on geothermal power as well. Like in the Lost World, they say like this island runs on geothermal power. So I don't know if then they could do the same bullshit again with the volcano.
Oh, yes, but
but,
like there would have to be an actual volcano on the island. Like a volcano doesn't just like erupt from under the ground straight off the bat.
Yeah.
Like it needs to.
Well, no, yeah. Nublar's always had Mount Sibo on it. Like that's always been there since the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What have I? Oh yeah, there's like the blood, getting the blood from Rexy to put it in blue, like that. That was all right. You know, the animatronics looked pretty good. Rexy one looked really good, especially. I still don't know how they didn't get caught on that boat. Like how no one saw them or heard them or anything. Like Rexy's roaring and shit, and they're just like, oh yeah, lol.
Just close it, lol. It's open.
Yeah, just close the door.
Oh
It doesn't
no!
matter.
How did that happen?
And as much as I don't really care about Blue because I don't like trained raptors and I felt they forced it in, the scene where they were like operating on her, I thought like, oh, this is kind of nice. Like I kind of care about her. And then they cut back to the footage of Owen like training all of them when they were babies and stuff on like
That was nice.
crystal clear like 4K
Oh, yeah, that was dumb, but like
video footage.
it was a nice enough scene.
It was. I don't like trained raptors. I think it's dumb. But that I was like, yeah, okay. I do find it a bit weird that like from the beginning they were like, oh yeah, Blue's always been like obedient and great, and I'm like, that didn't happen in Jurassic World. Blue like still killed and ate people and didn't listen to Owen until the very end of the movie. So I don't know where they get. It's just like a retroactive thing where because she helped save the day at the end, now that's what people think. It's like, oh yeah, she was always like that. Yeah. And it felt really forced.
She was always really cool and really nice.
Yeah, raptors are like just your dogs, you know?
Yeah, they're just like your little attack dog. Just bite some child's leg off.
I didn't really like. Is it? I think Ellis, like something Ellis was his name. The businessman who kills Lockwood with the pillow. I was kind of like Jurassic
scene.
Park. Like to me, I'm like when they got characters at gunpoint and shit and like threatening to kill each other. I'm kind of like, this doesn't really feel right in this franchise. Like, whenever there's dangers outside of dinosaurs, it should be from the environment, from the actions they've caused. So like the tree falling and then the power coming, Ellie turning the power back on while the kids and Grant are climbing the fence. Like, that's not dinosaur related, but it's like the environment and the characters and all that. But literally characters murdering each other or threatening to murder each other, I'm like,
You can only have though a certain amount of conflict between an environment and dinosaurs before it gets too samey.
I guess, but would you say like you thought that felt right?
No, I don't think it's good, but that's because the character's garbage.
Right, okay. Yeah,
Like, he's
don't
literally
know.
the most mustache-twirling villain other than the dude that's selling the dinosaurs. Like, he was hilarious. I loved that dude. His hand gestures.
The auction scene Well, I mean, that's where we're up to now. Basically, the auction scene where the movie's supposed to start like getting scary and dark or whatever. It doesn't. The auction
It's
scene
comical.
was just where, that was where like I just turned to you and I was like, this is it. Like this is too funny now.
I'm having a ball.
I'm
there was
laughing,
the oil tycoons from Texas with their massive handlebar mustaches. There was a Japanese man who doesn't understand English who fluffs his lines.
Flubbed
that
his
was
line. Yeah, he said 40 million.
He says 40 million, and they go back to 21. Then they go back to
Yeah.
21 million, and like what?
I
He
thought
just said
that was
40.
just me that heard
Are
that.
you just
but-
ignoring the Japanese man because you're racist? What? But then he comes back and bids for 25 million, and they end up with 28, even though some guy says 30.
It's so stupid
Like,
because you would
what?
think. At that point, you would think, oh, he's fluffed his line. Either we re-record it or we roll with
Oh, yeah,
it.
ADR.
yeah.
Not just like completely
go back to
disregard
21.
his fluffed line and just go to 20.
I don't know about you guys. I think I caught an ADR on Nublar when they're in that room before where they're getting the computer ready, and before Owen and everyone leave to go blue. I swear there was a line from Claire that was like ADR'd, and her mouth, like she was turning away from the camera and her head turned so for like a few seconds you could see her mouth and it didn't like line up at all.
Ooh.
I think that was ADR, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
Probably.
But yeah, that whole auction scene was just like, oh my god, this
What
is
happened to the
just,
Russian
like,
dude?
the
He was supposed to
Russian?
be the Russian one that's built up to be like sort of like a secondary villain that, like, because they
I think
offer
he just got away.
They offer screen time to him, like he's talking to the guys auctioning. He's like, he wants 2 carnivores, and he's literally one of the main people the camera focuses on, like during that auction scene. And they're just
Wait,
not seeing.
you don't mean the guy in the elevator, do you?
No, he's the guy selling them. I mean
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Russian dude who's trying to buy the he buys the Indoraptor in the end.
Indoraptor, yeah. I don't know. That was actually one thing with Wu. The one thing with him I like. I still don't like they've turned him into a villain now, but like this mad scientist villain. I think that's just dumb. And how he's created the Indominus Rex and the Indoraptor and all that. The only thing I liked is he was like, "Oi, don't sell this. Are you crazy?" But then I'm like, why the fuck do you make it then? Like,
Yeah.
what did you think they were gonna do with it? Like,
Well,
he
when he
seems
was-
like out of nowhere he has this like little bit of moral code, and then I'm like, but no, you don't. You made it. You made it as a weapon. That's the whole point.
Well, I think he made it as a weapon, but he made mistakes with it, and he wants, because he was finding very hard to get the Velociraptor Blue in with it to make
Yeah,
it
then he
obedient.
blues-
So
yeah.
he's like, this has failed. We are just showing it off to get interest in the finished product. So yeah, just show it, then get it the fuck out, and we'll probably kill it just to get rid of it. Like once
It's-
we're done with it.
It's weird too because they've said the third film won't have hybrids, but then they introduced this element of them wanting to make more Indoraptors.
So then what's the point of the Indoraptor?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Indoraptor felt pointless, and it came out of like nowhere. Like it wasn't even like established in the movie. It just kind of shows up, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we just made another one." Oh, and then we killed it, and like that's it. It's not even in the movie that much at all, and it's not like used in a scary way. It's the one part when they were in the diorama and stuff. I thought that was pretty good. But then that was where I started feeling as well all the Jurassic Park callbacks. It's like, hey, remember when they had to reboot the system? Remember when Lex sat on the computer and she had to get the things working? Remember when Ellie was turning the power back on at the same time as the characters are climbing the fence? Now they're turning the lights back on at the same time the characters are hiding from the Indoraptor. And I
What was the
like,
point in turning the lights off? It gave the Raptor an advantage.
yeah,
like-
maybe, but
It's like it's got better sight. It can smell.
I liked the shot though where like its face was reflected in the glass with Macy. Like
As
that
we
was,
said, the films were well
well,
shot.
it's shot well. Yeah, a lot of shots with that. I thought like all the when he. That's the other thing. I knew before the movie they made it clear the Indoraptor was a male, and in the movie they briefly mentioned, oh, it's a he. I thought that was gonna like go somewhere or mean something because previously all of them are female, but no, they're just like, oh, it's a he. I'm like, all right, they clearly did that on purpose, but why? Like, why
So I could
mention
fuck
that?
Blue.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe maybe
Just
they
have
want
sex with the dinosaur.
yeah, maybe they want it to reproduce. But again, if there's gonna be no hybrids in the third one, then
See, when Wu gets angry and storms off and starts cleaning shit out off his desk, what I thought was gonna happen, he was gonna leave with the research and leave the Ellis Carol. Is that his name, Ellis?
I think it was Ellis.
Leave Ellis
the
there at the mansion and
man.
just be like, "Fuck you, you did bad thing, man. I'm gonna go now." But no, he just gives the ship to Ellis for some reason when he leaves, and we
Yeah,
don't see
he gives him the
Wu again.
Irex bone.
Yeah,
Yeah, Wu gets tranked. Franklin Man stabs him with trank thing, and then they let Blue out on purpose, and Blue just attacks people because she feels like it. And guy drags Wu away. I honestly thought Wu was gonna die. Like I was thinking
that
before I
was
saw
funny
this
when he
movie
gets
that Wu was
dragged
gonna
away.
die.
That was really funny. His body just limp and I just like.
And again, I'm just like, this should not be funny. Like, this is the end of the movie. I should not be laughing at, dumb, absurd garbage. But I actually remember at the part when they revealed, we want Blue to mother the Indoraptor, they keep cutting back to Macy, and they didn't mention Blue
Oh
yet,
yeah,
I
thought.
think.
Yeah, no,
I thought it was going
they
to
were
be,
gonna do that
the
as well.
Indoraptor needs a mother. Macy.
Macy,
We'd be
yeah.
like,
I actually had the same thought. I was gonna laugh so bad.
she's got dinosaur DNA in her, but no, they didn't. She's a clone still, but oh, and then there's a part where Owen and Claire locked in the cage, and they used the Stiggy Moloch to break out, which I was like, that's a little bit dumb, but it's not that I'm like, yeah, it's kind of believable, whatever, sure. But then it just acts like a cartoon when they get into the auction room, and it's just throwing people in the air.
Yeah, they go 50 feet.
Yeah, people flying through the air.
And they survive. They don't
and then,
die.
And then Chris Pratt has a fucking fight scene. Punching people and kicking people, one punch, bam, and they're down. Or flying through the air and dodging this guy with an electric taser thing. And I'm like, holy shit. We have hit rock bottom of just
No, we've hit sky top.
absurd garbage. This is a fight scene, a superhero fight scene in a Jurassic Park movie. This is just insane. I remember at that point just being like, oh fuck this movie, this is so dumb. And then Wheatley comes in to the Indoraptor and he's like, oh yeah, what are you there, love? You look, I don't remember you. And then tranks it and
But
then
not.
opens the cage and walks in, and it's and again, everyone in the cinema was laughing because this is horror movie 101 cliche trope, dumb idiot does dumb thing, lets thing out, lets monster out.
Well,
But
it was shot for comedy though.
That's not this is the scene for me where it's cemented this is just garbage. This is horror cliche trope, teehee funny, let the monster out, oh he's gonna die, ooh. And then the guys in the elevator, they shut the door and then turn around and that. I'm just this should be a scary scene. I want to feel scared from this, and some of the shots, again, the imagery is scary, but I'm not scared because I'm not tense, because I don't care about any of the characters, and they're not making me care because they're telling me to laugh. They're telling me this is funny. But it's this is supposed to be scary, but you're saying it's funny? What? How?
Within that whole scene, you just need the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme in the background. The one that goes bom 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 bom.
I want when he walks into the into the elevator and all the people are standing there shh, I want a laugh track there, and then I want when the elevator opens back up, I want a slide whistle. That's the elevator opens again.
You're saying people laughing, but that whole scene where he goes into the cage is completely shot for comedy because he's doing Tom and Jerry tricks, he's distracting him with his tail and then smiles. He smiles. How did you not laugh? How did you not? Yeah, I wanted more stuff like that. That would have been funny.
It's like my raptors in the Back to the Future
Oh,
animation.
don't even remind
That was
me.
garbage.
Disgusting.
But I remember hearing people say oh, there's one death in the scene, it's pretty brutal. I'm guessing they're talking about that one because it bit his arm off or something. But I was
Brutal, but with no blood
No.
because it's M.
yeah,
I'm so scared.
It didn't feel I wasn't. I wasn't scared. It's just
He
fucking
actually lost
dumb.
his arm during filming. Oh my god.
But yeah, then they do the whole reveal with Macy and like she's find the photo album. Like from the start, because I'd predicted again that she was going to be a clone. And at the start of the movie, when Lockwood's hiding the photos, I'm like, oh fuck, yep, I'm probably onto something here. And then later when
Nanny.
the woman there,
Nanny.
the nanny, and she's like, I cared for them. Both of them. I was like, oh fuck, yep, I'm right.
They should have
And
just
then-
left it at that because, like as I said, it has no like main thing on the plot. So just like leave it for the next film if it's integral to the next film's
Yeah,
plot.
maybe. I don't know, but it's a dumb, stupid twist, and it's followed up by like just more nameless guards just being like eaten by the Indoraptor running off and shit, and then you've got like
Such a
part
cheap
where all the
jump scare as
characters-
well. Like
Yeah.
he just ran, came out of nowhere, and like two guys just died, and he's like has the shock
which
stinger
again
sound. It's like
spoiled in the trailer as well. That shot. And then you've got the part they're hiding in the museum area, around like the Triceratops skull, and again people are laughing because they're like going in circles, hiding behind it, and I'm like, again, this part should be scary, but it's not. And also, the fact they're hiding behind the Triceratops skull and the Indoraptor was like on it, I'm like, okay, yep, I called pretty early on that's how they're gonna kill it. And at that point, when I saw the Indoraptor climbing on it, I'm like, okay, yeah, they're definitely gonna use that to kill it somehow, which is exactly what happened. Again, I felt it was really predictable. Even before the movie came out, I thought they're probably gonna use that Triceratops skull to kill it because that image keeps popping up a lot in the marketing and stuff like that, and it's clearly the centerpiece of the room, so it just felt appropriate, I guess. And then you've got like the Indoraptor chasing Macy and everything, and it's just, do you remember the first movie? Do you remember when Lex was pulling the thing on the kitchen thing down and she couldn't shut it and the raptor hit the mirror? Do you remember that? Well, now Macy's in the little thing in the house and she can't shut it in time, and just like the first movie. Do you remember when the raptors opened the door? Do you remember when the raptors tapped their little toes on the floor? Do you remember that? And then and then Blue coming in to fight it, which spoiled in the trailer. Like Chris Pratt comes in and I'm like, Blue's gonna come in and save him, which is what happened because I already saw it in the trailer, which was annoying.
Like, you can literally watch all 3 trailers. You don't have to see the movie.
Exactly. And like with Rexy as well, I wasn't even like, during the movie I wasn't even thinking this, but it's something I realized at the end. I was like, fuck, I still don't even, I thought Rexy was gonna at least have like one like scary scene again, like one big moment for her, but she doesn't. She's just forced into the movie. All of her scenes except the last one are in the trailer, or the second last one technically, because the very last one's the lion, and that's in the trailer. All of Rexy's scenes are in the trailers. You've basically seen like everything from her if you've seen any of the trailers, and she's completely forced into the movie just to go, hey, do you remember Jurassic Park? And yeah, Blue just acts like a dumb like superhero Marvel thing at the end of the movie when they killed the Indoraptor. I kind of felt like, is that it? Was that the climax? Because I wasn't excited. I didn't feel tense. I wasn't into it. I wasn't scared for the characters. I wasn't scared for anyone. I was just like, oh, that's the end of the movie. Oh, okay, whatever. I guess that's it. Yeah, and the other reason I called them using the Triceratops skull to kill the Indoraptor is because that's the original ending of Jurassic Park in the Visitor Center was going to have all the bones of the dinosaurs fall down and impale the raptors, but then they decided, no, let's have the T-Rex come in and save the day because that's much more satisfying. So I thought, with all the bones in this museum, I was like, oh, well, they're probably going to redo that concept again, and they did. Again, very predictable. And yeah, I really don't like this like superhero Marvel team up stuff fighting the villain. I remember that there were people next to me. Whenever Blue did anything, they were like doing little claps, like yeah, woo! It's just like,
Woohoo, I love dinosaur. Woohoo!
And then the lab explodes and Blue like jumps out like from the explosion, like running away from this exploding laboratory. Which I remember me and Ben laughing at for sure.
Like, Blue should have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
Blue should have no idea that she needs to run away.
then we had the very end, yeah, where they're about to release the dinosaurs, and I was kind of mixed because I'm like, all right, I know they're going to get out because they already spoiled it in the trailers, and I know that's where they want to take this fucking garbage franchise, but I don't know how, I don't know why. And Claire's about to push the button, and I seriously thought maybe she was actually gonna do it, but then she goes like, no, I can't, like this is a really dangerous, bad idea, I'm gonna get people killed. And she doesn't do it. And I was like, you know what? Like that, yeah, it's probably like that is probably the right idea. As sad as it is, it's probably the right idea.
Smart character makes smart decision.
Yeah, but then Macy just fucking lets him out anyway. Like I thought maybe something would happen, like something would screw up with the power, or like one of the other guards would like let them out or something. But like, no, they let Macy, and then don't they like smile at her or something when she lets them out? Like, because she goes like, I can't let them die because they're like me. And then, and then like, they kind of look at her and they're like, yeah, or something like, I don't know. The other thing I don't quite get is that big room had like the Apatosaurs, the Triceratops, the Stegosaurus, the Stygimoloch, Allosaurus, Carnotaurus, and all that. But Rexy wasn't in there, and I don't know where she was being kept because she shows up after. Also, the Compies were never shown until that very end bit. And then that whole bit at the end with Ellis, I think that's his name, of him hiding at the car with the Indominus tooth was just like pure schlock garbage. All the dinosaurs coming out, and then do you remember the first one? Rexy comes out of nowhere and saves the day, I guess. And do you remember the Lost World when the two T-Rexes split Eddie Carr in half when they ate him? Well, now it's the same again, but it's Rexy and a Carnotaur for some reason. And then she roars at the Carnotaur and it goes away, and she does the exact same pose from the first movie again.
Remember that epic pose?
I think that was easily the worst of the nostalgia, like pandering callbacks for sure. Like I was already rolling my eyes at the door opening and the raptor like foot tap and Macy trying to shut the door and stuff. That I was already like, oh my god, I get it. Yes, I know you're trying to be a Jurassic Park movie and failing, but I get it. But then that was just where I was like, all right, you've like officially gone way too far. Like I get it. I get it. I've seen the first movie. It's my favorite movie. I know. I remember when she did that pose. Yes, very cool. And then I guess she just walks away and like the characters walk outside and Blue's there and Rexy's just gone. Whatever. Owen treats Blue like his dog again and she runs off into the wild, and then more shots they spoiled in the trailer. Mosasaurus at the beach. Rexy in the zoo. Owen, Claire, and Macy like driving against the sunset, and there's pteranodons like flying
that was
off in the
fucking
distance. I was just like, oh my god, like, and the movie's presenting it as if it's like a good thing or something. I was like, this isn't a good.
It's
this
great.
is not a good
Shut up.
thing. It's so dumb.
It is the greatest choice you could ever make.
And then back to the thing with Malcolm, and he's all like, we have to learn to coexist with the animals. Welcome to Jurassic World. Line that was in the trailer.
Welcome to Jurassic World.
And then, do you remember Jurassic World when Rexy roared over Nublar at the end? Well, now Blue looks out over the California desert at some houses and barks out over them at sunset. And just this franchise is like, it's done. Like, it's not. You can't come back from this. It's. I think. Oh, there's also a lot of exposition dumps that I didn't like. At the start, and then when Ellis has got like the guy's gonna auction off the dinosaurs, he brings them in. He's like, let me tell you our evil plan while Macy listens, and let me show you all this evil stuff we're doing. And Yeah, I don't know. It just the pacing felt really off to me overall, like way too rushed. The island stuff was super rushed, and then this quote unquote scary part of the movie wasn't scary because it just felt lame, and I didn't really care about the characters, and way too drenched in just recycling stuff. Predictable again. Script's garbage. The third one's going to be atrocious now that the dinosaurs are out. Blue is still apparently the last raptor on Earth, which I think is such a dumb plot point. Like, I want to see the wild raptors, but I guess not. Rexy in a zoo for some fucking reason. I don't know. If this is their idea, because Colin Trevorrow has said that Jurassic World was like the science action movie, and then this was more like the science action horror, the dark chapter, and then the third film will be a science thriller and be the most like the first movie again. And if this is what they think a horror movie is like, and like a dark middle chapter horror movie, then I don't want to see what they think
Thriller
a
is
science thriller akin to the first one is for the next one.
science thriller.
that-
Do they mean just like dinosaurs running through suburban neighborhoods? Because I think that's a pretty good science thriller, man.
Woohoo!
I
I'm
can't
so
wait.
excited for that.
I don't know, like, are there any specific, I guess, spoiler things you guys wanted to go into? Because, like,
You pretty much addressed
just-
everything. The big thing is that stupid twist, which I think has no point in the plot at all. There's literally nothing really to talk about this movie that hasn't been said. It's kind of garbage, but it's funny garbage and it's entertaining garbage.
yeah. For me, like, in terms of calling it outright garbage, it's not. It's just above being actual garbage, simply because it looks great, the
Well, yeah,
music's great.
everything
you know.
technical about it is probably one of the best in the series. I'd
Yeah, no,
say it's
I'd
better than
say-
Lost World personally, but
I'd
in
say
terms of
up there
technical.
with Lost World and stuff. It's it looked great, like great shot composition, lots of fun, like when Rexy's introduced at the start and you just see her for a second when the lightning goes
yeah,
off
that was
in the
good as
back
well.
of the trees. Yeah, I was like, I mean, again, the opening's fantastic. So, and then like all the stuff in the mansion with the lighting with the Indoraptor and him like coming through the door and the window and stuff. As much as they were like ripping off the first one, a lot of the lighting and the shots of that were great. Again, a lot of them spoiled in the trailer. But great, creepy kind of stuff. Just too bad that they didn't push it far enough. I think. Like again, we watched Jurassic Park in the cinema last week, exactly a week before we saw this, and I've seen that movie countless times. But I was still like feeling tense during the T-Rex breakout and the raptors in the kitchen and then that
because
whole
of the
ending that
characters.
movie. Because of the characters and because the movie actually is made to be scary and it's actually putting these characters in dangerous situations where I never really felt the characters were in any danger at any
Well,
point.
even then,
in
I
this
felt they're
movie.
in danger. I just didn't care if they were or not. Like, I hate Lex and Tim just because I personally find them quite annoying. But I still care about them. Like, the movie gets me to care because they're written well. I just don't like them. I find them annoying. I find Lex's scream one of the most grating things, and Tim is just a piece of shit and is incredibly annoying.
See, there's no point in Fallen Kingdom where I thought any of the non-evil characters were going to die. There was no point where I thought, other than Lockwood, who was already sick and old, and like, okay, he's obviously going to go. Other than him, none of the characters I ever thought were in any danger at any point. I never thought even like Franklin or Zia were gonna die,
Despite being made
because-
disposable. Like, I think the movie kept on like saying like, oh, they could die at any point. They're kind of useless characters. Just they'll probably get chopped up into like a wood chipper at some point. Just like die.
if they
I was like,
come
all right.
back. I don't
Oh,
know.
they are not coming back. I don't want to see them ever again.
It's gonna be. I thought Zia was alright.
She was annoying.
She had a cut scene where she revealed she was a lesbian, and they didn't.
She was a typical sassy woman.
Yeah, I didn't think she was. I didn't really like Franklin, but I mean, I thought at least was like fine, like tolerable enough for this movie anyway. If she came back, I wouldn't hate it or anything. But
I would hate if Franklin comes back.
the next movie is just going to be Planet of the Apes, like with dinosaurs, Flintstones. I don't know, like garbage probably, and
Can't wait.
I'm dreading it. 2021, I think, is Jurassic World 3.
Is that how long it's going to be? Wow.
Well, they're 3 years apart. That's the one thing I've given these, like, outside the Star Wars movies. They give them 3 years instead of 2 years. But apparently it didn't help with this one, because the script is still garbage. So
It's sad that I'm saying that's a long time for a movie to come out.
Yeah, I know. I think Lost World had 4 years, which I think helped. But yeah, it's literally just the writing mainly at this point. It's mainly the writing, and it's the direction they're taking this franchise in. But at this point, they've committed to it. You know, even with Jurassic World, the direction they're heading in, and the subplots they'd set up, I was like, all right, this franchise is going downhill. And I gave them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt with this, that maybe they wouldn't, but no, did they? I don't know if I missed anything because I've only seen it once. I only saw it last night. But did any of these sold dinosaurs actually like get given to anyone, or were they all still kept?
They're all. I think they're all kept.
Yeah,
and then they escape at the end.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Because I'm wondering if they're still gonna do any shit. Like if the next movie is gonna have a villain riding on an ankylosaur with guns on it or something.
Oh, well, on the last few scenes, there is... I don't remember what it was, but there was a dinosaur on the back of a truck in a big cage, so... I'd imagine one of them just got caught at the end, and they got recaptured.
Something like that. I can't remember what it was. Yeah,
I think it was the Kano.
I'm not sure. Yeah, and then
the Allosaurus was caught. The Allosaurus was caught.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Did it?
Yeah, it was in a cage.
Yeah, I think that might. Yeah, I think you guys might. I can't quite remember.
That's where the Russian guy is. He probably took the Allosaurus. He's gonna come back.
But then there's like I think they show at the end people still have the embryos. Like people are escaping with like briefcases with all the embryos in them. Like so I'm like, I guess the fucking extinction thing didn't matter because they're just gonna make more anyway. So it doesn't matter if the dinosaurs are out in the wild, because if they weren't, they could just make more and release them anyway. Like, I don't know. Like, where
the movie's
are they
actually
going?
pointless. Like, it has no point.
Yeah, like the Indoraptor felt pointless. It didn't really. It was literally just there to follow on from In World when they said, "Oh yeah, imagine if we had a smaller I-Rex, and it could infiltrate military terrorist things or something and eat people." The only thing I'll give it, the I-Rex and the Indoraptor, that makes sense for military is somehow the thing has fucking bulletproof skin, which they've never explained.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Indominus in the first movie gets shot in the head with a shotgun like 3 times and just shakes it off and shrugs off a rocket launcher towards the end as well.
That makes literally no sense.
The Indoraptor gets shot like 3 times by Owen in Macy's room.
It's just like, lol.
It just goes like, nah. Yeah, I'm good. I was honestly a bit surprised they didn't have it use like any of the Indominus's powers, like the camouflage and shit, because I thought like the whole point was that it had all these extra abilities as well.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I guess maybe they didn't want to do it because they're like, oh, that's the I-Rex's thing, but it just kind of seems like if that was so crucial to its design that it had all this DNA in it, and then you're going to make a smaller version, why would you take all that away? Because camouflage seems pretty useful, but again, I guess that's a problem with the I-Rex, and that all of its powers in the first movie are literally just plot. Like, oh, we need it to hide, so it can hide now. It hid from a thermal. Snake DNA. Yeah, like just contrived.
Snake DNA for camouflage. Is that what they said?
It's got cuttlefish DNA in it, which is how it could camouflage, and then something like snake. Some kind of snake DNA let it hide from thermal technology in the paddock, which is how they couldn't find it.
Right.
And all this dumb shit.
Whoa.
But yeah, like, I didn't like Jurassic World that much. I had it as my second worst. My ranking is JP, The Lost World, Jurassic World, JP3. But at least Jurassic World was, like, trying to say something. Even if it didn't do it well, it at least had a commentary, even if it's just on itself. It had something to stand for that was a little bit different to the previous movies. And it showed something kind of unique with the park working, even if it didn't show it enough. Whereas this just felt it had nothing to say. It didn't mean anything. It didn't really add anything other than just dumb shit like cloned children. And the Indoraptor felt really tacked on and pointless. It felt like it didn't need to be there. It's introduced just kind of like, oh yeah, we got another one, whatever. And then dispatched with pretty easily. Like in Jurassic World, a lot of like the big kind of named, I guess more like kind of good guy characters are affected by the Indominus. It's responsible for the death of Simon Mizrahi, the park owner and everything and all that, and takes out all the InGen like military guys, and releases the Pteranodons, which kills Zara like a few more significant characters that aren't just plain evil. But the Indoraptor in this movie just kills the bad guys, and then that's it.
What happened to the kids?
The kids? Oh, in World?
Yeah. Like, I'd expect them to, like maybe have a callback in this movie or something. I don't know.
It would have been kind of forced.
Yeah, it would be forced, but this whole movie's forced.
True. At the reveal of Macy being a clone, before they straight up said it and she had the photo out, were you guys expecting maybe it was going to be like fucking Sattler or Lex or something? Like
No,
on the
I
photo?
just thought it was just going to be like
I thought
someone
maybe,
who looked exactly like her, which it was.
I thought maybe they were going to pull some bullshit like, oh, her mother was actually Dr. Sattler or Lex all grown up or something like garbage.
Oh, so it was
like
going to be
that.
like Sarah Harding or something.
I
something
don't
autistic.
think they'd reference Harding because most people don't like the Lost Worlds. They'd just be like, we'll just pretend. They just ignore them.
Didn't Sarah Harding have like a little daughter? No, not daughter, sister. Or was it just the game?
No, in the game, I think. I think in the because you play Jerry Harding in the game, who's the guy with the sick Triceratops in the movie.
He looks nothing like he does in the game.
Yeah, and then he's got his daughter, and I think it's implied that Sarah, is like his older daughter. Or maybe sister, or
No, it's older daughter. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure because I guess I don't know how old they're meant to be, because Sarah is clearly not like in her 20s or something. She's like 30s at the time of Lost World, I'd say. So, or I don't know, maybe late 20s. So I don't know. The age is a bit off. But I mean, the Telltale game is not even like canon. I think it's like sort of canon, but also not, because this franchise has fucking no idea what it wants to do. So it's just like, I don't know. We'll retcon the Spinosaurus and say it was actually the first hybrid, lol. Which is canon now, according to the DPG website, the Dinosaur Protection Group. The Spinosaurus was like InGen's first attempt at making a hybrid, which is their retroactive way of explaining why it's a fucking shit dinosaur and why it just kills everything and why it looks nothing like a real Spinosaurus. I don't know. You guys got anything else to say? Because I feel like I'm just fucking done with this franchise.
It's bad.
In
Don't
terms
see
of the
it long.
movies. Yeah, the only good thing about this movie, the toys, fantastic, and it meant that we got Jurassic World Evolution, and there's a free update coming out in like a day or two with 6 more dinosaurs from the movie. You got the Indoraptor, Allosaurus, Baryonyx, Carnotaurus, Sinoceratops, and Stygimoloch. So that's good. But other than that, this movie, it's nothing but a bad sign for even more bad things to come. So I went in with low expectations and was still disappointed.
Epic Malcolm in the Middle.
Yes, very funny. Anything else, Ben?
Nah.
All right. I guess that's it. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, guys, in cinemas now. If you love nostalgia pandering and dumb action scenes and unfunny comedy moments and not
Unfunny
scary,
brown man screaming.
yeah, not scary horror, and you want to see actually really good cinematography at points and a great sound, just go on Spotify, listen to the soundtrack, listen to Michael Giacchino's soundtrack, wait for the Blu-ray, and someone will put up like all the screenshots of the best scenes, or someone will upload the opening, someone will upload Gyrosphere underwater 1 minute shot, one take, one shot thing, and someone will put a screen cap up of Rexy doing the same pose again in case you're at least interested in seeing that. Because, I mean, it's a cool image, but it just doesn't need to be there. So if you like dumb Marvel movies, you'll probably like this. Maybe. And if you
I
just
love Marvel movies.
if you just want to see dinosaurs,
If you're an intellectual like me, you'll enjoy it because it's dumb, alright?
I can't wait for the
Expand your
Indoraptor
minds.
pop filter. Pop filter? Pop vinyl.
Dude, I want my pop vinyl.
those pop vinyls are actually
I
really
can't
bad.
wait.
Steve got them and they melted. Like they just fall
Yeah,
over.
the stand's melted, fall over.
Yeah, it's so
Nice. Quality.
bad. All right, everyone. This has been our Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom review podcast. We hope you all enjoyed listening to us rag on this movie, mainly me, because
I'm
obviously
gonna cry about bad
I'm the
movie.
most attached to this movie. Let me know what you thought of it. Let us know what you thought of it in the comments, because I'm interested to see what other people think. It's gotten a lot of mixed reviews, and yeah, we'll we'll see you in the next 3 years for the Jurassic World 3, Planet of the Dinosaurs, baby.
I'm excited.
Epic style.
All right, thanks everyone. See you later.